All right. Good afternoon, everyone. If you don't know who I am, you are tuning into the Hounds of Business presents Mike King Biz Radio on ESPN RVA 106.1 FM. That's a mouthful, but well worth saying. And if you're not familiar with me, I am Mike Asherbranner, professionally known as the Redneck Connector and the proud and humble leader of that Hounds of Business community. First of all, hey, happy New Year, everyone. I think we can say that till the end of the month. I might say it till June, dadgummit, who knows? But just to look a little funny. But hey, Mike King, happy New Year. Same great Mike King. The way you push up your community, amazing. And it's an honor to work with you and collaborate to push up folks worldwide, man. We got the best businesses, innovators on earth. And today, hey, very special guest. I hope you guys take your pens and pencils out or whatever you're using old school, maybe your tablet and take notes, right? If you're leading a startup, scaling up a business, you're managing corporate teams, if sales and business development is for you, take some notes, right? We got special guest Bob Lambert. It's going to be amazing, right? This guy has been, he's going to drop some nuggets. If again, lead gen, nurturing relationships. Wow, take notes. This guy's been there and done that, folks. So I'm gonna play our intro video. If you're driving around out there in Richmond or at the desk, hey, thank you for tuning in. We always strive to bring you great value, and I believe this is going to do it, guys. So, and real quick before we get started, hey, from the Hounds of Business on the live stream, you can catch the replay of the live stream on Hounds of Business at YouTube. You can find us Hounds of Business on LinkedIn, or you can send me an old school carrier pigeon. You know how I am, still in the woods. All right. So, Lewis, thank you so much. And Royce Blake, man, good to see you guys. Let's roll this intro.
Looks like your business might be in a bit of a pickle. Don't you worry about a thing. You ain't alone in this. You're just a success story waiting to happen. Trust me on that. Every bump in the road is just an opportunity wearing a clever disguise. Welcome to the Hounds of Business community, where we don't just sit around twiddling our thumbs. Nope, we turn those obstacles into mighty fine stepping stones. This here's a place where high-level entrepreneurs and sharp professionals gather to grow their businesses and mindsets, kind of like how a good old gumbo needs the right ingredients to be something special. Ideas thrive here, and collaborations? Well, they're as natural as sweet tea on a hot day. Success? It's a journey, and we're fixing to walk that road right beside you. Now, don't forget to follow us on LinkedIn for all the latest tips and insights. We're talking about the kind of wisdom that'll keep you ahead of the game. And while you're at it, head on over to our YouTube channel. We've got ourselves a treasure trove of videos, from expert interviews to webinars, everything you need to stay sharp in this fast-moving world of business. The Hounds of Business community? Well, we ain't just a network, we're a movement. So why not come on and be part of something bigger? Join us today and let's turn your business journey into a real Southern success story. Together, we'll achieve greatness, just like crawfish and singing on a Friday night.
Yeah, that's Bob. Bob, that's the first time you've heard and saw that. Crawfish.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I love it, man. That's great. I told you
Yes.
before, I love your euphemisms, how you peanut butter jelly and, peas on a hot day.
I'm glad somebody does, or I'd just be out there. Who knows what I'd be doing? Dang gum.
Yeah.
So, hey, welcome to the show, Bob. We've got Jeremiah Hardy. JJ is in the house. Thank you, Big Dog, for tuning in. And Bob, wow, man, I'm excited. You've become relatively recently kind of a mentor to me, right? You've almost got
Yeah.
what? Don't get mad at me, but you've got what, a half century of knowledge and experience in business in
Yeah.
all kind of sectors. You've been there, you've done that, but also you're one of the most humble and giving back kind of guys I've ever met. So wanted to thank you for that, because it's the who is important, even
Yeah.
more important than what, my friend. So thank you for being that guy, and it's an honor to have you here.
Well, thanks, Mike.
Well, let's get started. I want people to get to know you. They're piling in. Noni is here. I'll be dang. There we go. All right. So let's get started. Give us a little bit of, because I want to give you, have one of them Tom Brokaw resumes, like page after page. Right. So
Yeah.
let me give the folks a little bit of so you served long time ago in the US Navy. First of all, thank you for your service and sacrifice, right?
Yeah, let
Um,
me back up on that a little bit, because really you asked me about my leadership skills, and my leadership skills started much earlier than that, in Boy Scouts. So I attained the rank of Eagle Scout, with Order of the Arrow and all that, and that really laid a great foundation, because when I went to college, I was Navy reservist, and then we in college during Vietnam, I got called up. So the training that I had, in the service and all that became much more specific to tactics and things that I had to learn to be able to function, particularly being swift boat trained. And then I got called up in active duty, but I got out early because of because I had a couple things going on with my family. I had a pregnant wife, and the war was coming down. So the whole military experience, I got to tell you, foundationally was led right from my Boy Scouts. The other thing, too, is I got my first big corporate job with a little company called Nestle. And it was between me and another candidate. And he was an Ivy Leaguer. I wasn't. But the guy that hired me said because I was an Eagle Scout and I served our country. Those are the two factors. So I'll tell you that any young people listening, any parents out there, I encourage you, scouting has kind of lost its way a little bit, but I encourage you. It's a great program. Get your kids in it.
See, I told you this is a fun guy, y'all. I didn't let you down. All right. And by the way, Mike King, hey, Army veteran. Thank you, Mike King, and all the folks, service and sacrifice. And it's amazing. Just a little side note. It's amazing to me, Bob, that more companies are not hiring veterans. Man, it's mind blowing.
Yeah.
I just can't get over it. You don't want someone experienced who doesn't run at the sign of trouble, who can learn quickly. I don't know. We're working on it though.
Yeah.
So
I'm a big advocate. I'm a really strong advocate here in Chicago. We have several organizations that really are big advocates for former military. So we're blessed, and we've helped them a lot with their resumes to get their MOS extrapolated into what can that bring to an employer? What types of things can they do for an employer? So that's been huge. Thank you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I love it. And I've got some folks to connect you with. They're doing some major things on and offline, connecting veterans and businesses. It's amazing. So
Right.
you've worked with some giant companies. Correct me if I'm wrong. Citigroup, Kraft, right? P&G. You've done a lot of those. But what I'd like to know, you've also was involved and started up multiple ventures, right? The Samurai Business
Yep.
Group, Human to Human, and now QCSS, Quality Customer Sales and Service. What inspired you to do all of this, and especially get into the field of helping entrepreneurs when it comes to sales and business development and lead gen, since it's so hard for
Yes,
them?
well, it's really been around small mid-market companies because entrepreneurs start out as small, and then they start getting bigger. And that's been a huge passion of mine is there companies that want to grow, really want to put the work and the effort into to do it without all the pitfalls, because we help them navigate through all that too. And so let me do a little bit of backgrounding here. My first career start was with Nestle. I spent a decade with them. I started marketing on the product team, Taster's Choice, and then I migrated out into the sales organization. There's a great story about that, but I know we got some time parameters here. Bottom line, that's what got me into sales, was that. But the real catalyst for me becoming an entrepreneur in all Candace is the fact that I got summarily fired from my career at the 10-year mark. And I was climbing up the ladder and all that stuff. It was very humbling, believe me, Mike. That was a huge humbling, because I was running about a 300-person sales organization as a regional manager for one of the largest food manufacturers in the world. So I came down 40,000 feet. And I ended up landing a job with a company that was pretty entrepreneurial at the time, but had some great, corporate people that were in it that transitioned from big corporate mentality to small company mentality. And so because I was, in the consumer packaged goods market, that I was comfortable with it. I knew the front door to the back door of a grocery store. I started working in a grocery store when I was 15. So that whole thing came together in this company, the first company I went out with, and it was called Luncheon is Served. And literally what we did is we took packaged goods products, and we would literally put together a menu of different products to actually serve lunches and dinners for fundraising, for churches, for Boy Scout groups, Girl Scout groups, you name it, we were doing that. And I had the real privilege, the honor of working with a gentleman that spent his career with JWT and Young and Rubicon, Y&R. And he was the Ford Better Idea guy. If you remember, it's probably your audience that is a little young, but they had this little light bulb that pop up about the Ford Better Idea. And Ray was fantastic. He was a great mentor to me and helped me smooth out that transition of going from this, hyperactivity in a corporation down to, small mid-market companies, going out to all these different venues. And I tell you, I learned a tremendous amount. And these women we had working for us were phenomenal. I mean, you could hear a pin drop in that audience when they would give their presentation about each one of these foods. Okay. They were literally giving live commercials out to an audience of anywhere from 25, 30 to 300, 500 people, that would show up for these fundraisers. So that then led into another opportunity for me to work with a emerging, what they call at the time in the 80s, emerging company that really was a marketing agency, because, marketing agencies at the dawn of those could do all four disciplines back then, because the internet didn't exist, any of this stuff didn't exist. So it was advertising, sales, promotion, public relations, and direct marketing. And so we combined all of those, and that was a great learning process. And then one of the guys I worked with there, he said, "Hey, I inherited some money. How'd you like to go out with me?" And because I brought about $1.5 million into the agency within a year and a half. So that, and so I said, okay, let's see what goes, with that. If you got some money, I'll throw in some money. And that's when we formed the Marketing Edge. And our two out of the park home runs was a lot of that was, and I really coined the phrase back then, Mike, business development. Because to me, business development, really business development, is the pairing and the marriage of great marketing and great sales. And those two are inexorably linked to each other. And I've seen what that can do if people, and particularly when we were selling to or marketing people, when you said P&G and all these other companies, we were selling to marketing people. So we had marketing speak. Part of the problem they had is they had to manage all these different agencies. And we said, hey, look, you only got one to manage, Now, we were going up against big agencies, so we usually would come in the promotional door. And once we came in and demonstrated how we could take a budget and maximize that budget to get results, because that's what the whole theme was. We were results oriented. Why in the heck paint pretty pictures? So when I go back to the creatives, I'd say, look, here's the strategy. That's the frame. Print me the most beautiful picture inside that frame to move the needle to actually get results, because we weren't out to, win awards on our creativity. We had terrific creativity, and we did win awards. But the fact of the matter is, we moved the needle with each one of those engagements with those companies. And as you know, and I've shared with you, I won the business from Willy Wonka brands and this leads up to things we're going to talk about later about relationships. And we discovered one day, matter of fact, I just had a guy's going to put this in his book because he thought the story was so fantastic about innovation. And we're going through the factory and looking at these buckets that were filling up with some of this candy off of bottle stops, bottle caps, and all this other sweet and sour stuff they had. And the marketing guy was with it. He's pretty clever and he was pretty inventive. And I said, what's this? And he said, well, it's renderings off there. We throw it back in and use it as material again so that, we recycle it. And he said, but you know something, Bob, I've had an idea and something I think we can do with this. So he and I sat down and we brainstormed, and out of that brainstorming and a lot of activity and a lot of other creativity, Nerds was born. Okay. And I can't believe Nerds is still on the shelf. It's unbelievable because it's just it started out as a novelty kids candy product, but man, has that exploded. Well, the thing that was very, very telling about this is back in the mid 80s, to have a decent budget to launch a major kids candy product was about $3 to $5 million. Wow. We demonstrated how we could do that with $250,000. And a lot of it was through their sales distribution and a lot of, the experience we had that we knew about different things and how to leverage things. And that's how it really, and the kids made it. It was all word of mouth. Once those kids got those boxes, and there was 2 flavors in there, and then we had an instant win, that instant win just did. We took a page out of Cracker Jacks to have a winner in every box. So no matter what they opened up, but it was some tchotchke little prize, we'd send them $2.98. And the top prize went back then, which was a big deal, a Yamaha stereo set. That was huge, okay? And the kid that won that 36 boxes of this stuff. We got the rights to use him in PR and all that stuff to really just explode this thing out. So I could go on and on about that, but then also that led me, from the marketing edge, led me into Samurai Business Group. And that was the longest company that I have had, or that I started up. All of them were successful. My partner that was in with me with Marketing Edge bought me out, and I won't go into that. There's a lot of reasons for it. And then I started Samurai Business Group. And shortly after I started that, I found a partner, a kindred spirit, Dan Kreitzer. And Dan and I really were a great combination because I was Mr. Outside, he was Mr. Inside. I did a lot of the business development, bringing clients in like the ones you saw. But the other thing is he was on the back end of that, executing our curriculum, building out that, all the back office stuff you would think. So that allowed me to really get out in front and do the things I do best. My gift is connecting people just like you, and that's your gift. And so that's really kind of fast forwarding. I'm going through this very quickly. And that led into in 22, that QCSS, which I've known for 30 years. I've known the founders, lead generation, which we didn't do in the sales mastery program, but I would rely on them to maybe do some of that stuff and to help out. And really, it's been a marriage because when we came together in February of 22, Kathy Karabetzis, the owner, came out and she just threw this on the table and kind of took me back. She said, "Bob, what do you do with Samurai? What's going on?" And we trained up a bunch of their SDRs in the company. One of the partners got trained through our program. So they knew what we could do, the quality of all that. And they wanted to be part of that because the dirty little secret in prospecting is this. And we found this out, and I've got it verified now. These lead generation companies or call centers, call them whatever you want. They're like tsetse flies. They're everywhere now. Their job is to try to get that lead, throw it on your calendar, or throw it over the fence to a rep to follow up with, okay? And here's the dirty little secret. Once they do that, they're out of all control. They have no clue, the skills or the competencies of those salespeople. They're told that they're good, but who knows, right? And that's where the dirty little secret is. Over 70% of the people that we throw leads over the fence to have never been trained how to really have a discovery conversation, how to have a good follow-up, but more importantly, get it over the goal line, okay? The conversion, because that's what everything is. And we concentrate solely on that. And what I tell people now is, particularly in this day and age, it's buy or build, okay? And each of those have their ups and their downs. But buying something or outsourcing something that most salespeople is the bane of their existence, that's cold calling, that's cold emails, it's cold everything, spending and wasting a lot of time on that. I share with them, outsource all that to us. We're professionals. We do it 24/7. We've been doing it for 33 years. Let us take and carry the mail for you with that side of it and focus on basically what I call classic networking and building out your network. And I know that's the heart of what you're doing, Mike. It's building out those relationships. It's getting to those people. It's finding your target audience and who is related to them around that. We coach and teach a whole lot about that. It actually bears a lot more fruit, a lot quicker, particularly if you've been trained properly to convert that into a sale than all the cold calling and everything else. We have technology, we call the waterfall process, that helps a lot of people. We use LinkedIn, we use email, we use phone calls, and we've got something else. And by the way, we will also interject sales training specifically to follow up with those prospects, okay? And then the coup de grace is that nobody else has got is we do handwritten cards and letters. So we can get addresses for anybody. We can literally send them a handwritten card and letter introducing ourselves or the prospect and asking for some time to be able to talk to them if they're interested.
Wow. See, the passion on you is what I love the most. See, you're not done. You're not, I've done a lot. I can just go fishing or whatever. You're just like, man, no, nonstop. And I love it because it's driven by a desire to make an impact, Bob. That's what I want to make sure people understand. You see people out there they have all the passion in the world. They want to make the world a better place. They want to use their business as an extension of who they are, but they won't. That's where we have a common thread because they don't have the support, resources, or know-how to truly get the job done. And when it comes to somebody, Bob, that, is a startup, they might have took the last $5,000 they have. There's no room for error here. It's either do or die kind of thing. So when it comes to the difference between service providers and startups, right? How important is marketing and all these things? You said something, marketing coming together with sales. That's true business
It's
development.
huge.
But
It's
talking
huge.
about the entrepreneurs and the small business startups, how important is it to be intentional about your message and your voice? Is that comes first? Is that the horse before the cart? Does that makes you
Well,
different?
I would show you there's two dynamics that have to, you know, basically work in synergy with each other. That's your product and your service and getting yourself organized to be able to deliver on a sale. I tell everybody that starting out, you know, if it doesn't start with an S and end with an S, you don't have nothing. Okay. And what I find is founders and entrepreneurs are real passionate about what they built. You know, it's the greatest thing since sliced bread and all that stuff. But so what? If you aren't getting anybody to buy that from you, so what? So you have to really understand that sales is about creating value. Nobody's buying anything today that they don't want or need. They buy things that you know they see are going to deliver value, especially in a business. That's the starting point. Now, how do you do those simultaneously? Well, you could get help, outside help, and that's what I recommend to all entrepreneurs. Get smart about this. Get help before you run out of money and you can't do any of it. And the fact of the matter is, it building the idea, building all that stuff out takes, you know, capital, takes investment. I get that. But there's also ways that you can do those things more effectively and efficiently that isn't going to burn all your money up. I also recommend very succinctly to people, don't hire friends or relatives because that can get real ugly. I've been there. I've done it. I've seen it. So
Yes,
don't put
sir.
yourself to the heartache and headache of that. Number two, get professional help sooner than later. Get a great business lawyer because you're going to need them for contracts and everything else. So you can get yourself in trouble there and also what the exact laws are. And number two, a good CPA to do that back work for you for your finances and educate you, because a lot, and I don't want to be disparaging about this, but a lot of other entrepreneurs and small business owners don't know the first thing about finance. They think because they got money in, they got, you know, no, you got to really understand this stuff. And getting an education from a good CPA, even if you can have an interim CFO, but that's, you know, can get a little expensive. I highly recommend all that. Business is black and white, Mike. It is ones and zeros. If you're going to have people in the business, that's great. And you better get that one right, because I've seen a lot of businesses that get the ones and zeros stuff down, but they don't have the people part of it down. And that's where I see a lot of failure with companies, is because leadership or entrepreneurs or where it might be haven't really been trained in that area, because it's going to be the most important asset in your company are going to be those people and how energized they are. I'll give you a good example. In the, you know, and I've learned a lot about this, in the call center business, lead generation, all that. Very difficult business, very rough business, because you got everybody in the 30-second, offshore, onshore, and everything else. And one of the things about that is that the turnover rate is horrific. It's about 100 to 200% a year. So if you can imagine turning over your staff not only one time, but two times, what that does to the business where they're not, you know, not trained properly and a whole lot of other stuff. What I can tell you is QCSS has a model where the average SDR, customer service rep, has been with this company 2.7 years. They've survived through 33 years of this stuff. It counts for something. And number one, we aren't overpaying people, Mike. We're just treating them very, very well as human beings. Give you an example. Just last March, actually, one of our team members' apartment caught on fire. We did a quick start, fast start within the company, raise enough money, get her in a new apartment, get her some basic furniture, and get her kids some clothes. What companies do that anymore? You know?
No. And if they do, I mean, again, I'm not knocking. I'm just saying it's kind of a part of a strategy. But that's what separates. That's why you're here today, Bob, because you truly put values and you know those kind of things that matter. You know, folks say, well, it's not a family, it's a business, but it's family like. We treat each other with respect. You always put people's best interests first, man. You really
Yeah,
go the extra mile.
yeah,
And you, in doing that, it's just who you are. But it also trickles into great effects like better sales, less retention over time, all this kind of stuff. And it
yeah.
sounds so basic, but it's reassuring. And I think the people in the comments and listening will agree. it's reassuring to have somebody with your resume experience saying that, hey, that never goes out of style. You can have
Yep.
technology evolve all day long. What people want to belong and connect, right? And
Yep.
that's really the heart of the technical aspect, right? Did I get that right?
Yeah, well, here's the number one thing that barbers and bartenders and everybody tell you: people have the need to be understood more so today than ever before. Okay, and taking the time to listen to people to understand what they're, what's going on there. But I'm a big proponent of training. I'm a big proponent of teaching and learning and all that stuff. So the more that you can help people with their jobs and be more effective and efficient at it and be happy doing it by getting a pat in the back or any one of a number of things. By the way, every single survey has said this. When employers look at compensation as the top of the heap for satisfaction, employee satisfaction, and for employees, it's down to about 4 or 5. What really is a pat in the back, doing a good job, being recognized by their peers for doing a good job. That goes farther than giving them a car, So, and I've been involved in a lot of these kind of programs, so I know what works and what doesn't. And there's a lot of money wasted on stuff that doesn't really be needed. And I've been with some great leaders. People that are what I call like Sam Walton used to say, walking around leadership, where they go in a store and he'd be talking to the employees. He would be getting feedback. I've heard more times than I count from leaders where they got some of the best ideas for the company from the people on the floor or the people that are out in the factories,
I'm gonna start calling you my business jukebox. I just throw a quarter in Bob and take notes. Hopefully he doesn't invoice me one day. Like, hey, I just gave this guy a whole book of knowledge. But we only got a minute left, Bob. Look, everybody out there driving around in Richmond right now, thank you for tuning in. Go to QCSSinc.com. It's QCSSinc.com. It's a buffet of offerings and help your business, but as you can tell, much more than just do this, do that, get some sales. This is a comprehensive, hey, let's do more with less time, have more fun, right? Let's treat people right, but we're not kumbaya. We're doing business here, right? We're here to make money, but how we make money is the differentiator, in my opinion. So,
yeah.
Bob, where can folks find you, and what are some of the avatars? What are some of the folks listening right now that say, hey, I wonder if Bob could help me, and how do they get a hold of it?
Well, best way is go out on my LinkedIn, and that's Robert Lambert on LinkedIn. We got a little conflict thing going on with other Bobs, and so we're trying to get that all sorted out. But yeah, that's the best way to get to me. If you want to call me directly, 847-922-1498. I'm bob.lambert@qcss.inc.com. So make sure you put the ink there. I also have this business that Mike alluded to a little bit, human to human. If we have time, we'll talk a little bit about that. And that is bob@human-2human.com.
The guys everywhere. Oh my goodness. Hey, always make time for people, Bob. I don't know how you do it, man. It's like Dr. CJ. You must get extra 50 hours a day, or you're just wise about utilizing it. That's probably it with all experience. So, Bob, thank you so much. Hey, guys, again, if you're out there looking for solutions, real guidance, and honest opinions, if this guy, can't help you, if Bob can't help you, he's going to let you know. He's going to point you in the right direction. That's what matters to me the most. And so, hey, thank you so much, Bob. If you guys are out there trying to figure out business, whether you're scaling up, starting up, hey, shameless plug, right? The Hounds of Business is for you, right? Don't do it alone. Plug into the talent and knowledge and expertise that will do you right. That's what we're for. It's not that others do wrong, but we know we're doing right. We do our best, all right? We don't get it perfect all the time, but that's our intention, guys. So plug into it. You can find us on YouTube, Hounds of Business, Mike Asherbrenner on LinkedIn, or send us a carrier pigeon. Yeah, I still take those. So appreciate you, Bob. Next week, we have special guest, Bill Forrester of CEO Zones. Cannot wait for that. And you two are kind of like business brothers to me, man. You two are very much aligned. So I'm a blessed guy. Jeremiah Hardy also said, hey, he wants to talk to you yesterday. So this has been amazing. Thank you, Hounds, Royce, Michelle, everyone. Mike King, you're the man. We will see you back same time next week. Everybody have a great day. Bob, you're a great dude. I can't wait to do more together. Y'all have a good day. Thank you. Thank y'all for stopping by. Be sure to follow, share, and like, and send me a message if you had fun today. Y'all come back now.